We will see some of the things that you need to know and understand if you're building systems that people can use, or you're using systems that people have already built for you. So let's get started. And first things first, we need to understand about what APIs are. So API stands for Application Programmed Interfaces. These are just some set of rules that will help you communicate between two softwares. Alright, so it could be some client and server, or server and a client, etc. So in APIs we have a term called endpoints. Okay, so endpoints are everything. So these are the doorway between your server and the client, or the client and the server. So in endpoints we have like certain types. So there could be some post, put and delete. Imagine you are knocking on someone's room and say to them that create a new room, and they create a new room for you. So this is post in action. So it's like creating an entirely new resource that didn't existed, right? And put is like updating the resources. So it's like you knock on the door and you say, okay, can you renovate this room for me? So they change the room for you, they update the room for you. It's put in action. And then we have delete. It's like just delete the room, and they just delete the room. So these are some certain types of endpoints that you can interact with the systems and use to build your system, so that others can use and manipulate or whatever. Understand if the communication had went well between your server and the client. We have something called status codes, right? So the status codes will explain the situation of this communication, whether the communication has failed or whether the communication has been successful or whatsoever. I'll explain you the same analogy which is using the door analogy. All right. So you knock on the door and they open the door for you. It means the communication started to happen. So if it is 200, always it's good. The systems are working perfectly fine and the endpoints are all good. And then we have 201. So this is mostly used to create the resources. When we use post, remember, post is used for creating the resources. And when we do post, if we get response code as 201, it means we have we are successful in creating that particular resource. And then we have 204. We take post, or we use put, and we want to update something, or we request for some information. The communication will happen, but in return we don't get any sort of information. It means the status code 204. It means you're trying for something but there is nothing over there. And then we have like 400. It means like you have passed some bad information for the request, and your request was invalid. And then 401 is like unauthorized. So if you have to, let's say, want to use some resource and you have like a login wall, and if you're trying to bypass this and use the resource which is on the other side of the login, you get this kind of status code. And then 403 is like you don't have any permission. Maybe you're not an admin, or you don't have admin privileges to use some certain resource. Then you get this kind of status code. And then we have 404, which is very famous. It means the resource that you are looking for, which is a web page or whatever, or the data or whatsoever, which is not there or has gone missing. And then we have 429. So 429 is like many people are knocking on one door at a time, and too many people trying at once. So it means like there are so many requests going at once. And then 500, it means like the server has crashed, or something's wrong on the server side usually, and we don't get any response. And 503 is like server is maybe in maintenance or whatsoever. Then in those times you get 503. And the most important status codes that you need to remember are like 200, 400, 401 and 500. So 200 is again having the communication successfully done, and 400 is like you're having the bad request, maybe your data or something needs to be changed, and a new request has to be made. And 401 is like again the authentication or something is required because you're unable to access that resource. And 500 is like your server is gone or some error in the server. So those are the most important status codes that you need to know. All right. Now we will see curl commands. So curl commands are like it's like more on C URL. Like you want to see what's happening with that particular URL. Curl stands for client URL actually. So for you to better remember, I'm saying just like client like see the URL, something like that. But we will get to an example of these curl commands, but let's just know what they are. So curl is mostly used to get the information, right? So for example, here if you have curl google.com, you just get the information from google.com, something like that, whatever is present on that web page or API or whatsoever. And then we have curl -o, which is helpful for downloading file. It could be a binary file, it could be PDF, it could be whatsoever. And then we have post. So curl is just like, you don't need to make a program. You can just use this in terminal or whatsoever to get the information that you want. You just want to test the API to see if everything is functioning properly. So for that reason you use curl. So post is again similar to posting the information on like creating a new resource or whatsoever. And then we have like information status, so something like status codes. So when we do curl I, we get the communication information, if the request has been successful or if it's not or whatsoever. Alright, so curl I is used for that. So these are the only commands that we need to understand right now in order to get started with developing the systems. So let's see some of these commands in action now. Okay, so we have this website called request-bin where you can run some online commands. Pay attention, you can also use terminal to do that as well. So first I'll show you an example on the terminal, and then I'll show you why we will be proceeding with the website. So I want to fetch the data from, let's say, Google. So I just say curl www.google.com. So if I do this, you can see a lot of information here. So we don't understand, of course. So it's HTML, it's site information. Let's just do the same thing here. So run the command here. You can see it's the website, it's the web page of Google, and you can also see the status code here. Alright, it means the communication has been successful and everything is going great. Alright, so this is one example of using the plain curl. Then we are going to learn about downloading a site or like a PDF or whatsoever. So for that, let's go to Google this, and here we have like a PDF file. I'm going to use curl to download this PDF file. Alright, so right now I am on my desktop and I'm just going to use curl O and paste the link, and it's going to download the information for me. So it's one shortcut on downloading the stuff that you want. So that's one way we can use curl. And the third thing that we want to see is using curl for post. So let's say if you're building some systems, it's important to read the documentation. So let's say OpenAI endpoints. I'm just going to go. You'll have API reference. Okay, so here you can see like the API documentation here. So as you can see here, if you want to test some question, we can use a curl to get the response. So -h stands for HTTP attribute. So it's like you send the content type JSON and you get the response. So let's just copy this, and I'm going to paste it. And pay attention, you need to use your API key for that. I'm just going to paste it here with my API key, and then when I hit enter, I need to see the answer for this question. Right, the question is about unicorn. So like, tell me 3 sentence bedtime story about a unicorn, and we see this information, this text chunk, which is the response. So for that we can use curl. So it's about posting. So here you can see it's a post method. The endpoint is post, and you get that. And then finally we have curl I, which is the information on the status code. So let's say curl I. Again, I'm just gonna do google.com. Okay, so here we got the status code 301. Right, it means that this web page that I have requested the information, it has been moved, and the new location of that is this. So now what I need to do is I just have to do curl I, and let me just copy this and paste. Okay, so now if you see, the request response is 200. Right, it means our communication has been successful and we got some response from the site. So that's in short how you can use curl and test your API endpoints or whatsoever. And there's also another alternative where you can use Postman. It's a built-in software you can use in VS Code in order to develop and test your API endpoints, and we will see that in the next video. But I hope you have understood something about curl and some status codes and something about developing systems in general, and I hope you like it, and see you soon in the next video.